Let me tell you a story. I'm doing software development for many years. I think it's about 12 years soon since I started to work on my first job during my university times. It was always me applying my knowledge to solve a problem somebody else found. It started with me working in a fintech company, then many freelancing projects, then startup, big tech companies, and even more startups. And while I enjoy solving technical problems and user problems with the technology, I always wanted to have my own projects. The one or ideally few I can build from scratch and make it my own. Previously, I made an attempt to make it happen, but I quickly dropped it. Not sure why, to be honest, but probably I didn't believe in the app I was making back then. Only right now I understand if I would continue, I would manage to finish, but shifting the idea a bit. But there is no point to discuss something that didn't happen. Also, I was thinking that I need to make something unique, like something brand new. So there is no point to copy somebody's idea. And slowly, over time, I understood that actually, to make a first project, I can just make another app for something that already exists, just make it in my way. Another thing that I didn't realize for a long time, building a project or a product is a skill. It includes building a software for sure, but there are so many things around it, and I have no or very little experience in that area. About a month ago, I decided to make it happen and started a small macOS utility app for myself, with a plan to make it a sellable application, but very cheap. Therefore, I can cover for Apple's development license, hosting, and few other things. But most crucial, to gain the knowledge that is needed to make and launch something from idea to public release version. And while I have the idea, I have a commitment to finish and publish it. Once I finished all the product features I wanted to release with the first version, things started to get a little bit harder for me. Because now I need to face the part where I'm actually not that good. I need to think about the distribution, landing pages, purchase integration, app updates, and so on. It's not like I'm stuck and decided to stop doing this. Not this time, but eventually I started to hear doubts in my head. Should I even do this? Is this the best way to spend my time? Especially because I have to sacrifice some of my rest time and family time to work on it after my primary job. And do other people actually experience the same problems so my app will help them? For a short period of time it started to affect my productivity a bit, but then I started to think how I can manage it, how I can deal with all these doubts in my head and make them go away. I researched the internet, talked to the other people, and I found a few good advices on how not to drop right before reaching the goal. First, I reminded myself why I actually even started to make this application. I wanted to build my first application so I can put it in public. I wanted to improve my personal working workflow with this new one. There are existing apps similar to what I'm building right now, but there is no one that can have all of the features that I need in one place. I wanted to actually face the problems of public launch so I can grow, I can learn new stuff, new skills, and make it easier for myself in the future to make new apps again. And last but not least, say publicly that hey, it's my software, I build it and you can try it now. The temptation to drop what you do is the highest right before you achieve something. And while I started to care much less about bad things other people might think about myself, I still care what I think about myself. Dealing with the doubts is something I need to put some effort into, but just keeping doing what I already planned helps to balance these doubts. If you're like me struggling to finish a long project, I can only advise from my experience, try to find something interesting in the remaining tasks. This is how I motivate myself to finish right now. For example, I need to integrate a payment gate to sell licenses because I don't want to distribute through App Store and leverage the App Store's payments. So right now I'm researching what are actually the options, how I can integrate them, and probably I will need a simple backend for it, which is interesting for me from a technical perspective. Instead of dealing with anxiety when I need to do something boring or not that interesting, I just trying to find a subset of what I want to make from it. This is what I'm trying to do, make a progress every day and find something interesting in the boring stuff. It might sound easy, but sometimes it's really not. Probably this is why some people do not finish their projects. But with my app Eligere, I already made a public beta recently, and now I'm preparing the first release. I want to show that anyone can build and release software, but sometimes it makes you struggle. And giving a public promise is another way to push myself, because no one will believe me in the future if I cannot hold my word, right? A bit of public pressure is a good thing to hold myself accountable for things that I promised. Here is my recipe in short to deal with the doubts in this situation. The first, write down why you do something and read it again once you have doubts. Second, find interesting parts in the boring stuff. And the third one, make public promises to keep yourself accountable. For some reasons, we all do care about promises to other people more than to yourself. Keep going, and I see you in the next time. Bye bye.